the TP9SA Mod 2. A little bit different, a few changes here from the TP9SA that you guys know that we're fairly big fans of. It is so new that I haven't even taken the stickers off of it yet. Have you seen that? Yeah, stickers right there. They say remove before firing. Pull this one off. So I'm sure that you guys can already pick out one of the things that is different from the other ones in the past. Gosh, these stickers are terrible. Right there, Mod 2. So that is the version 2 of the TP9SA. Your phone, not mine. No, I'm just kidding. That is totally my phone.
Definitely.
Hey, Kevin phone. Landers. I'm working, dude. I'm totally working.
I'll buy Apple products.
Disrespectful. So far, it actually shoots very nice. We're gonna run this one more time and let the guys get a hold of it, see what they say. We've got a case laden with stuff here, so real quick, pistol, holster, the attachment is elsewhere. You can put that back in there. We'll set the pistol aside for a second. We have a generic magazine loader with the Canik symbol on it. Some trash. This is our pin for the extra back strap, so if you want to add extra mass to the back of the gun right there, you need an extended pin, so that's good as far as that is concerned. And of course the all-important safety dingus, unloaded chamber indicator. So for now we can go ahead and push all of this aside, and I showed you this gun there briefly. This is the TP9SA original, and this video is going to rely heavily on this gun. So both these guns are indeed unloaded. So if we throw them up here, we can start to see some differences right here. We roll them up there into the camera. We are missing on the Mod 2 and Mod 1, we are missing the slide serrations here. The sight is no longer directly integrated into the slide there, so these can press out, and this does appear that it can be pressed out as well. But it looks like it's a lot harder to do on this one than it is this one. This is a set of Warren sights. The original sight was adjustable. I have my misgivings about the sights there. You can see that the slide geometry has changed ever so slightly. We got some sleek lines here instead of the rounded sides here. All right, so let's go ahead and address the 900-pound gorilla in the room, and that is that this thing maintains the same decocker function, however much reduced from that of the TP9SA original. Now, I can make a little bit of an excuse for decockers on pistols. Maybe not this exact function of a decocker. However, you have to remember that this was originally designed as a military pistol. And I'm not trying to beat up on my military. I love my military, I love my veterans. Many of you may be veterans of the United States military. Thank you very much for your service and keeping us free. But I'm going to venture to guess that you will back me up in saying that not every single person that you served with was the sharpest knife in the drawer. So convert that from our way of thinking here in the United States to the Turkish military. Lowest common denominator type stuff. It is much easier to teach people to push a button than it is to teach people to keep that finger off the trigger. So if you're talking about preventing accidents on the flat range when you're trying to train your new troops and stuff like that, I can make a case that you push this button right here and it kills the pistol. There's no way that this pistol can fire except if you cycle the slide and put a new round in there, or it can be done by shortly cycling the slide right like that, and you can see the loaded chamber or the firing pin indicator there on the back is ready to rock. Push it again, kills the pistol, that thing goes down. The major point of contention for the longest time was that this is a bad thing because it could be potentially actuated when you don't need it to, right in the middle of a gunfight. And while I can see the argument there, we have thoroughly tested, if you guys missed our TP9 V2 video, where we drug one of these things, specifically the TP9 V2, the one available right after the TP9SA, we drug it behind a truck and it did not decock the pistol. So now, to combat that, you can see that they have significantly relieved that decocker on this gun. It is now very reminiscent of the TP9DA decocker, and it is very much reduced from as far as the size is concerned. So you cannot reach this and actuate this with your thumb inadvertently. Now let's talk about mags. So these are 18 round flush fit magazines. They are stamped with the Canik logo there on the bottom, and they are a Mekgar magazine. So very high quality magazines. If you are in a pinch though, if for some reason you run out of these or you break too many of them, or for whatever reason you're in a pinch, you need another magazine, you can use a Beretta pattern magazine. So this is a Mekgar Beretta pattern magazine for an M9, and you can see it right there. But you'll notice that the cutout is slightly different. So you'll have to hold these in place, but if you absolutely had to, you could totally take this Beretta pattern mag and cut it to accommodate the TP9 in a pinch. Speaking about being in a pinch, if you fall down and go boom and break your holster, and you need one immediately, or maybe the next day or something like that, and you don't have time to get a new one, then you can use the Nsr Glock Holster. It will fit the TP9 series pistols, although the main concern here is that it is not properly relieved for the massive magazine release on the TP9 series pistols. Now, the Nsr does make dedicated holsters for the TP9 that have addressed that concern, but this is the issue here. We take our magazine, empty magazine, and insert it. There's still enough play that we could potentially eject that magazine if we're jostling around quite a bit. And this is not just a fluke, because I have one of their economy line holsters right here as well, and you can see that it fits in there quite nicely, but it again still has the same issue. So again, in a pinch, can be done. Speaking of magazine releases and magazines, you'll notice that the magazine release is on the standard left side of the gun. However, it is reversible to the other side of the gun if you do care, and the magazines are cut to accommodate that as well. But anyway, as far as magazines are concerned, we need to get rid of this empty and put this guy in here and get back to the range and do some shooting.
I don't know why that started off funny. The one thing that I would really criticize on it that they could probably correct pretty easily though is the sight system. It's nice for your follow-up shots to just go front sight focus. You see that front sight again, you know you're ready to go. But there's just still some daylight between the rear sight and the front sight, which just kind of gives you, it's not as easy to acquire it. You know, you can have it is a further distance, you know, just being off by a little bit with your front sight, having that angled a little bit, I mean, that can cause you to miss your target by several feet.
I would echo your point. The biggest issue with is the rear sight.
Yeah, it's the rear.
There's too much squish room at the back. So I saw that in the initial, when I was shooting it. I was trying to do like hammer pairs or whatever, and just following the front sight, and there's just too much on that rear sight.
Yeah.
And it causes you to be able to still see the front sight but not be properly aligned.
Yeah.
So that's
I like them to be just blocky.
Yeah.
You know,
so
put a square inside a square.
And you know, we've said this about because they're the Warren tactical sights, is what they are, and we've said this multiple times before. If there's one thing that they could do, it's just scrap those sights. You know,
got a metal guide rod.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a, you know, I think it's a
feature I didn't expect to find on it.
I think it's a fairly well-made firearm. I think that's the sights are the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. And like I said, it's an affordable firearm. Some of those things are going to be a little bit more relaxed, we'll say.
Well, somebody clearly does not think that the sights suck.
I know what you're saying. I think the rear notch is a little big. The front post swims around a little bit in it. It's not really an issue for me. The ones that I have noticed, the Warren sights that have the real fine fiber optic front, they're pretty hard to, as far as getting on target, but this one right here is not a problem for me.
Why don't you unload that gun real quick?
It is unloaded.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so Wombat and I have been going back and forth about what we like, what we don't like about the Canik. Me personally, I have a hard time finding a whole lot wrong with them. I know you mentioned the sights a minute ago. I'm a big fan of the Canik Reset, the trigger. Caniks have a good trigger. Do you agree on that?
Oh yeah.
One of the things we were just talking about, off camera a minute ago, was grip angle. And both of us have run Glocks for how long? I mean, my gosh. I mean,
they're all terrible.
And in my opinion, like I was saying a minute ago, I don't care who you are, but the grip angle on a Glock is just not natural.
It's not. It's very aggressive.
It is, and you got to break your wrist a little bit forward to get that nice sight picture. Where the Canik just has, I think it has.
It's really intuitive.
It's like just like an M&P. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
And ironically,
I happen to have one available.
I carry an M&P, so we're gonna match them up, and I want you to look at this right here. Yeah. I guess we'll lay it down so you can see the difference. They are identical.
So yikes, that thing is hot. We've had a bunch of running guns. Now I'm gonna see if I can't improve my time here. That sucker's getting hot. How many 3 mags a run times?
That thing's had every bit. There's a pile of boxes over there that's empty. It's 200 rounds easy.
I don't know. I think
we can see there's a pile of 50 round boxes, and we loaded everything up.
Yeah.
It's had 200 rounds through.
So all of that includes what I've got right here. So
it's gonna have 200 at the end of this round.
Here we go. You ready?
Do it. Hit. High. Hit.
There's a groundhog.
Don't shoot any living things.
If he comes down, I'm getting him.
Leave it alone.
The resonance on that barrel is heavy, man.
Do them. Hit. 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 Miss. Miss. Hit. You're getting hot. There it is. High. Hit. Nothing. Hit. Nothing. Hit.
Whew. Man, I got a little bit tired there at the end. So
I was holding my arms out forever, but I didn't hit anything.
We finished with 2 rounds left out of 2 magazines. All right, guys and gals, that is our look at the Canik TP9SA Mod 2. This thing got our standard test of 1,000 rounds while here. And for ammunition, we used Fiocchi 115 grain with a few boxes of 124 grain sprinkled in, just to ensure that it would run both weights well. We only had one non-user induced malfunction around the 500 round mark, and as standard we did not clean or lubricate the firearm the entire time. Pretty solid performance, as we tend to expect out of the Canik series of pistols. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you guys on another video here on the VSO Gun Channel, if YouTube doesn't shut us down. Both of you pointed at one of those plates over there so that you can see that you're pointing at the same thing. Obviously,
height difference there.
There's a height difference.
Just a little bit.
Let me get down here
in
like
case
this.
you guys didn't notice.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's
Here,
more
I'll get
like
up
it.
on my toes. Whatever. Start.
Oh, thanks for putting that on the barrel for me so I don't have to pick it up later.
I aim to please. That brass is really hot. Don't hurt the good guys. You're not hurting anybody. That is one dead hostage. Hey, look at that. Whoop-de-doo. I'll hear about that all day.